Hey everybody, Adam from Team Swish here, and we brought a friend. Killian, say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Sweet. Killian's good we finally got you here. I think this has kind of been a long time coming, honestly.
So, it sure has. I've been wanting to jump in on one of these with you for a while.
For sure. So, hit Killian up tonight, and I was like, so what do you want to play? And so we start looking through a couple lists, and he's like, so this Hollow One deck looks rad, and I'm like, got a link? So Killian has chosen Madness, or 8 Walla. So the last time I played this deck, I played Rug. You play blue for things like Careful Study, Breakthrough, things of that nature. Instead, tonight we're playing the Jund list. What the Jund list gains is Putrid Imp, which is very, very, very strong. And then you start playing cards like Burning Inquiry, Ox of Agonis, and then, like, a Gamble. There's actually a Simian Spirit Guide in this list, which is kind of rad. And then you get some additional sideboard stuff like Bone Shards, things of that nature. So, this should be pretty rad. So, Killian, did you ever play any Modern Hollow One or anything like that?
I did for a little while. I played some of just the red-black Hollow One when it first was getting big. I thought it was pretty sweet, but I definitely think that the Jund version that's going around now is a lot better with the Vengevines and the Once Upon a Times and such.
Yeah, and so this, in Legacy, like, you get that deck, but, like, on crack. Because Lion's Eye Diamond is absolutely absurd. So, Lion's Eye Diamond will let you discard all of your Madness idiots, like the Root Wallas, Anji's Ravager, importantly, Anger. Are you familiar with Anger, Killian?
I actually am not.
Okay, so Anger is an incarnation. It's like a 1/1 with haste or something. That's not relevant. What's relevant is it says, if it is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. So, you dump
That's
Anger...
really strong.
Yeah, you dump Anger into your yard and bring back Vengevines, and you get Hollow Ones and all these Root Wallas and all this garbage. And then you just attack them for 1 billion. So this deck wants to go very, very, very quickly. So Lion's Eye Diamond lets you discard additional cards to get them, like all the Madness Idiots and stuff like that, out of your hand. Again, discard things like Anger that might get stuck in your hand. And it also gives you extra mana, which is kind of important. Because what you can do is use Lion's Eye Diamond to discard things like Anji's Ravager, and then use the LED mana to pay the Madness cost. So, it's kind of clever and a little cute, but this deck can absolutely turbo stomp people. We do need to be cautious of things like Endurance. Endurance is very, very good against us. And then there are just randomly, like, you know, Terminus decks, things of that nature. But honestly, a lot of times we're just going to be too fast for our opponents to beat what's going on. At least that's the hope. So, let's get this started. But yeah, so like LED being one of the big gets, but also Gamble. So, when you're empty-handed, you can gamble for a Madness threat and just guarantee the trigger. Or you can gamble in an early turns to help set things up, like looking for a Lion's Eye Diamond, or looking for, you know, another creature or a Vengevine or things that you might need. Uh-oh. Oh, are we going to make it? We are going to make it. Hooray. Oh, and we won the die roll. This is so good for us.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. I like what I see here. I think I want to keep this.
I would say so.
So, I think here I want
the
to...
only thing we lose is the Root Walla, right?
Well, so like...
Burning Inquiry.
So basically what we do is we play out our Lion's Eye Diamond before we, like, Burning Inquiry or whatever. And we just kind of go from there. So we go land, LED, Burning Inquiry. We could even try, if we want, to gamble first. And gamble for... Vengevine?
True.
Oh, our opponent has a Chancellor DNX. That feels bad.
Yeah, it does.
Alright. So, now we have to figure out how are we going to beat Guess I want a Badlands. We can use LED to clear the trigger, actually. It feels bad, but I think it's correct. So we'll just cast LED, let Chancellor counter this. And then cast Burning Inquiry. Of course, we discard Gamble, Ox of Agonis, and an Anji's Ravager that we now can't cast.
Wonderful.
We did take a Lotus Petal, a Reanimate, and a Thoughtseize from them. So, like, that feels pretty okay. We got a Reanimation spell out of them. How far? 8 cards for Ox. So we can crack Bloodstained Mire, cast Faithless Looting. We're actually not terribly far off of bringing back Ox.
I think if we draw some kind of like a Goblin Lore or something off of the looting.
No, we don't have Goblin Lore, but we do have access to...
No, we don't. That's right.
Yeah. But this is, like, actually okay. Opponent just unmasked us. So there's now 7 cards in our graveyard. They're gonna Faithless Looting here. So I think that we took their Reanimation spell, which seems like it was important. Why did you unmask me and not grief me? I do not understand. Oh, gas. We just drew another looting. Rootwalla,
Seems pretty good.
I agree. I will cast this card. I will also cast this card. This is currently a 1-mana spell. We'll grab a Taiga. And I will cast a Hollow 1 for 1. And then next turn we can bring back Ox of Agonis.
Hollow 1 for 1 is always a good idea.
I mean, Hollow 1 for 0 is a better idea, but...
It is.
Alright. So... Opponent's fetching... Lotus Petal, sure. Flashback looting. Oh, that's so good for us. That is so good for us. Well, alright. That'll be good in the future. I'm gonna...
We can play Onks now, can't we?
We can. I'm gonna fetch first. Grab another Badlands. Ox. Red. Red? Mire. Ravager. Inquiry. Gamble. Mesa. LED. And then one of these lootings. So we get to keep a Faithless Looting. That feels good. Gas.
That was a really good draw.
That was absolutely incredible, actually. There was an argument there to pump our Rootwalla rather than take the Putrid Imp. But I want to protect this Putrid Imp from a discard spell. Because this is what's going to enable us going forward.
Right, and I think they're far enough behind that we could have made that play.
I think so. Like, clocking them so they don't get to stabilize is very good for us. Unmask targeting us. I accept. They're going to take the Anji's Ravager because we can't cast it right now. And that's just like a totally... Oh, no, they just take Rootwalla? Why would you do that? I will cast it.
It feels really bad against us.
I mean, I think the deck is actually, like, okay.
No, I just mean his unmask.
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah, no, the unmask is bad. I'm going to get an Ox of Agonis. I'm going to discard this Anji's Ravager and draw 3 more cards. Are we cool? Do you realize what you've done?
He's probably just upset that he did that.
I mean, I have to imagine. No, we're not going to cast the Anji's Ravager. Alright. So...
Are we just looting first?
I kind of want to, because I think that we're really close to lethal. Vengevine, Tarn. I'm going to cast this Once Upon a Time. Alright. So where does this go? So we take Anji's Ravager. Play the land, play LED. I can crack LED for green to pump a Root Walla. Okay.
So then what? He blocks the Ox. Takes too much.
Well, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, but he's going to gain 7 as
true.
well.
I forget about the lifelink on Grizzlebrand. Yeah, but if he doesn't have anything to stop us this turn, he's done.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard. Like, opponent definitely can't attack back. And actually, we're, like, not that crazy far off of just, like, escaping an Ox again. That is bold of you, opponent.
That is very bold. Does he hope he's gonna win off of the
I mean, that's, like, gotta be the thought, like, that this Grizzlebrand just wins the game. I guess if opponent thinks that they can put into the bin and reanimate Sarah's Emissary, that would be the line. Unmask, target themselves. Sure. They have the Sarah's Emissary and an Animate Dead. That does the thing. That is unfortunate. Because they just give their stuff protection from creatures. And we do not have a way to...
That's rough.
...do anything about that. Alright, we have died. Alright, so these 4 Leyline of the Voids look pretty great. Fairy Macabre looks great. These Run-a-Fowls look excellent. I don't know how much of this we actually have room for. Like, I feel like Inquiry seems questionable when opponent has things they want in their graveyard.
I agree.
And then, like, how much of this other stuff can we afford to cut, I guess is the question. We'd have to make 3 cuts to get in everything.
Void's only opponent, correct?
Correct. It also doesn't really matter for us because a lot of the stuff that we care about, like Anji's Ravager, the Root Wallas, those all go to exile instead of going to our discard pile.
Right, I was just worried about more like the Vengevine ones.
That's true. I'm going to cut a Gamble. And then maybe 2 Once Upon a Times. Maybe I'm not supposed to play Run-a-Fowl. I can see that. Maybe I'm...
I think the Run-a-Fowl... Because, I mean, he's only playing, a couple of creatures, right? He's just going for the Grizzlebrand.
So they've got Grizzlebrand, Sarah's Emissary, and then the Archon of Cruelty. And then, obviously, Chancellors. All of which have flying. Which is why, like, Run-a-Fowl is very good. But I think that on the play, we're just supposed to try to murk them and go faster than them.
I think so as well. I almost think Bone Shards would be better than the Run-a-Fowl as well. If we were to play...
So the thing is that if they name a card type with Sarah's Emissary that isn't creature, we can... Like, Run-a-Fowl doesn't target the creature. Oh, I guess it says they have protection. Yeah. Yeah, it's a sacrifice thing. I will play first. I will keep this. This looks like hot fire.
starting a ley line, which is
Yeah, we have turn 1 Leyline into Putrid Imp. And then, like, if we find a Vengevine, it's like the greatest thing on planet Earth. Because we just yes, put this Leyline into play. Chancellor the Annex, okay. Knowing they have revealed Chancellor, I think that I'm gonna throw this looting away.
I think that's the plan.
Because this Putrid Imp is going to enable all of the things that we want it to.
There could have been an argument for the Rootwalla, but I'm not sure if that was...
Ox of Agonis, sure. I grab Badlands here. We are a turn behind now, which is mildly unfortunate. I am eventually just going to pitch this Ox of Agonis for sure. Ox of Agonis is infinitely better in our graveyard than it is in our hand. Verdant Catacombs, fetch. What is your plan, opponent? Okay, they're fetching again. Serenity. Sick. Okay. That's gonna take you time. Time that I don't know you have. So...
That looting looks pretty good right now.
It's possible, but... So my thought process being right now, we can just get Anji's Ravager into play. Like, that's a guarantee. Discard. Discard. So that's the unfortunate, is now we didn't hit another land. And this leyline goes away.
I almost think you could have used the Badlands to tap and then drop the Rootwalla just to have it.
Oh, I mean, I can just drop the Rootwalla through Putrid Imp whenever I want. I'm saving it specifically for the purposes of Vengevine. So, opponent is going to blow up our leyline, which now puts us to Threshold. Entomb, sure. Get Grizzlebrand, yes. Yes. You have reanimated Grizzlebrand. You were at 2.
I think we might have been too slow.
Maybe. I still think that we actually can win this, strangely enough. It's just gonna take a series of pretty stellar draws. Which, like, this deck can just do. Dark Ritual, yes. I wish for you to cast an Exhume. That's all I want, opponent. Please cast the card Exhume. I will 100% put this Ox of Agonis into play. They're going to unmask themselves. Chancellor the Annex. Sure. You... Okay. Another Ritual.
Then he reanimates, or animate deads, yeah.
Yup. So my thought process is, what else are they going for here? Nothing? They're just gonna... Okay. So I think that I want the Rootwalla in play now, then. I will cast this. Oh, they got my Ox. Sure. Oh, they're hoping to hit another one. Okay, I see what they're doing here. Their hand was bad, so yep, okay. Since their hand was bad, they were just like, I will reanimate your Ox of Agonis.
Right.
Grief me? Yeah, like, that's fine. I will not cast. Your thing has died. Like, we're not really dead, though. I'm going to discard this Anji's Ravager. I'm going to cast it. Oh, right. That's how that works. Most assuredly, Red Chancellor remembered that it was going to counter my Anji's Ravager. Still threw it into the void anyway. Nice. So... okay. Obviously not blocking. We go to 7. They're at 9. Opponent cannot activate the Grizzlebrand here. Looting, sure. They've put an Archon of Cruelty into their graveyard. So that actually does the thing. That gets an Anji's Ravager into play. But I think that's too slow and we just die. What else can we do here?
Does buffing the Ruwala benefit us at all?
So, like, that would trade with the Ox of Agonis, but the card we're worried about is actually the Grizzlebrand. And that's what I was looking at, was how many cards can I get out of my graveyard so that I can let Putrid Imp block. But I can't get enough cards out of our graveyard. Because I would have to fetch to do it. And I can't, like, then Ox afterwards too. So I think we're just dead, unfortunately.
I think so too.
Rough.
That's unfortunate.
That was very close, though. Like, both of those games felt like they were within seconds of going the other direction. And that's kind of the beauty of this deck, is, like, you don't necessarily, like, have a ton of tools to fight against a combo deck. You're just racing them. You're like, I am also a very fast deck and can kill very quickly. Good luck, have fun. And that's kind of your game plan, is just, like, beat them down before their cards matter.
Right. And for a lot of decks, it's hard to beat. Yeah,
well, and the nice thing about it, too, is, like, when you... So, obviously, Reanimator is the one matchup where Burning Inquiry is, like, at its absolute worst, because they have a lot of cards they actively want in their graveyard.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, the beauty of it is that, like, when you're talking about decks like Storm or Show and Tell, where they're, like, the cards in their hand matter a lot, like, you can just randomly disrupt them by casting a Burning Inquiry that's going to put you ahead anyway. So, it's kind of excellent. Hey, there's round 2. Oh, we lost the die roll. Boo. Wait a minute. I'm keeping this.
Interesting.
This Lion's Eye Diamond is going to be... Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. How powerful a wizard do we think we are? I'm going to take this Vengevine. This is, like, full-on greed mode. But, like, we could very easily just...
I don't even know if it's greedy anymore at this point.
We could full-on just dumpster our opponent here on turn 1. Did we just randomly run into Reanimator again? It feels like we just randomly ran into Reanimator again. Oh, we sure did.
Oh my god.
Twice in a row. Let's go. If opponent doesn't get Sarah's Emissary, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's fine. Like, if Sarah's Emissary doesn't show up into play this turn, I don't necessarily think that we care. This was a hand that wanted to go bust.
Grizzlebrand, though.
Turn 1 Grizzlebrand's strong, but, like, we might just put, like, a bunch of Hasty Vengevines into play.
Right.
This is another Dark Ritual. If they take this Lion's Eye Diamond, though, we're in such bad shape. They're Thoughtseizing themselves. Sure. Yikes. Okay. I will let you name a card. What card type do you choose to name? Would you like to name Enchantment? I would love it if you would name Enchantment. They have chosen creatures. We have lost the game.
This feels like such a bad matchup for us.
I don't know that it is. Like, we're getting a little unlucky. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know that it's absolutely, like, that atrocious. So once again, Gamble, Burning Inquiry can go. And just call that a day. And then I think on the draw, we're looking at cards like Run Afoul and Bone Shards.
Right.
We just need Busted Broken hands. This is not Busted Broken. I'm gonna mulligan this. This is not Busted Broken, but it's very good.
I agree. I think we just dropped one of the fetches, right?
Yeah, that's reasonable enough. Just gonna put Leyline into play. And then cast Faithless Looting immediately. Oh, sick. Opponent was not prepared for Leyline of the Void. Alright, so now I'm looking at Run Afoul and Bone Shards as ways to answer their stuff. In that regard, I think we need to think about slowing down a little bit. So I want to cut the Simian Spirit Guide. And then what? Maybe Shaven Anger. Ox of Agonis is pretty mana intensive.
I think so.
And then, like, we need...
What is the Fairy Macabre?
Yeah, discard Fairy Macabre, exile 2 target cards from graveyard. So it's just an uncounterable way to exile their reanimation targets.
Right.
So, like, I like that a lot, especially with Once Upon a Time that lets us randomly just find it. What else do we want to try to cut here?
I'm curious if we need the second Anger.
Second Anger is already gone. We're down to 1. I kind of want 1 because I do want to just kill them pretty quickly.
Right.
I think maybe Ox is the cut. Ox just...
I think we just have to be really fast. We can't...
Yeah, I think Ox is too slow.
To be useful.
Show me a hand with Fairy Macabre, Leyline of the Void. Well, no, but that's very good. I'm going to keep this one. Keep.
Oh, he's down to 5. I like it already.
This is so good. We have a Leyline and a Run Afoul.
I wonder if he's just going to scoop to the turn 0 Leyline again.
I have to imagine they're prepared for it now. Like, I have a feeling...
Nope.
That's so good. This hand wasn't even that great. Alright, that's amazing. So there's one on the board. We lose to Reanimator, then beat Reanimator. And so that's the thing, is like, I think... I don't know if its opponent just, like, wasn't willing to try to fight through Leyline, if they just don't think that it's a match worth fighting, or if their hand wasn't... Like, they had mulled a 5. If their 5 was, like, just a quick kill, like maybe in their mind it just wasn't worth trying to fight the battle.
I have to imagine if he went down to 5, he was just grinding for the reanimator, and once he saw the ley line, he just didn't have anything in hand to deal with it in enough time to kill him.
Yeah, so I mean, but the thing is, though, like,
our hand wasn't even that great.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Like, that's I don't think I would concede an opponent's position because, like, it's very reasonable that we just go, okay, well, you know, turn 1, Putrid Imp, go, and just don't do anything. Like, our hand wasn't going anywhere quickly, like, not at all.
Right. And even if he turned 1, like, he got the perfect, you know, five card hand, and he got the Grizzlebrand on turn 1. I mean, there's nothing saying he couldn't fish for an answer to the ley line.
Well, that's my point exactly, right? Like, it's very reasonable that opponent could have just, like, waited it out and been like, okay, like, when all I need to do is find an answer to the thing, and when I find an answer to the thing, you die. And, like, it probably could have... Our hand was slow enough that it probably could have just worked. But I'll take the win.
Yeah.
So
nothing wrong with an easy win.
Yeah, and I mean... So, like, queuing into Reanimator twice also is hilarious. Like, that's...
If we queue into it again, I don't even know what I'm gonna think.
Yeah.
It's the whole format is just Reanimator.
I mean, the deck has gotten, like, between Sarah's Emissary and Grief and Archon of Cruelty, like, the deck has gotten some really useful tools recently, and a lot of people are playing it because the format has kind of become this, like, dirtily mid-range soup. And so the deck that can just, like... We're now playing against Eric Landon, known Reanimator pilot.
Fantastic.
This is so good.
I think this is a keep, though.
I agree. I think this is easy to keep. He has it, too. That's so good. All right, I'm going to this...
Feed the Chancellor with the LED, right?
Well, I have a Simian Spirit guy that can just pay for the thing.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Double root wall? Question mark?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, is like, how busted are we trying to go here? Like, I kind of want to try to cast this Faithless Looting.
Maybe...
I guess... No, I think you're right. We just discard both Root Wallas. We just discard both Root Wallas, and then we try to cast the... Burning Inquiry next turn.
I think the Inquiry is bad.
I mean, it depends on if he has it or not. I mean, I'm sure he probably does have it. He has chosen to Thoughtseize us.
He's gonna take the looting, yeah.
That's fine. Like... That's a Petal, yes. I think I want to fetch a land out of her deck for thinning reasons. And I think that land is going to be... Taiga. We hit a Once Upon a Time, a Gamble... I'm gonna crack this for red and then recast the looting.
Couldn't we have cast the hollow one instead of the root wall?
We had to discard both. We only got the root wall because it has madness. So we put the thing into his graveyard for him. But we also got a reanimate out of his hand. So that's a Faithless Looting. Grizzlebrand is now in the graveyard, as is Sarah's Emissary. That's Exhume. We have one creature which we can put into play. This name's creature, and we just die? Yep. This is 3 rounds versus... Three in a row versus Reanimator. Die to take out Gamble, take out Burning Inquiry.
I think we take out the Oxes, right?
We did once we brought in Run Afoul and Bone Shards. Do we want to, I guess, do we want to go all in on that plan in game 1, or do we want to just try to race? Because we took out 2 Oxes, an Anger, and the Spirit Guide. I think in game 1 I want to race.
Right.
Yep, this does the thing. This doesn't hate him at all, but it puts a bunch of power into play on turn 1. I will just keep this. Badlands, LED.
Do we exile the guide first before?
I don't think so. I think I want it in my yard because Ox is still on our deck. Crack for red, red, red. Yield to Venge, fine. So this Anji's Ravager is going to push us into more gas, which is kind of the game plan. But he also knows that the coast is clear. Dark Ritual. Entomb.
Right, but we know he doesn't have the Chancellor. At least he should.
No, he's going to get... Yeah, he gets Sarah's Emissary here. And we just die because we didn't board in the stuff.
Yeah. I think the game plan versus is we just have to...
Yeah, I think that we have to board in all of that, all of those cards.
Shoot, had I known it would be, 6 rounds of...
Draws the ley line.
We could have just started with everything in the deck,
Right, right. Yeah, I think that we're just toast. Well, alright. So, 3 rounds in a row of Reanimator, one of them being versus the man himself, Eric Landon. So that's unfortunate. Yikes. But, yeah, that is, I definitely think that you're right. I think that we're supposed to board in Bone Shards and,
Run
Afoul in game 1. Or, like, immediately. Like, that's supposed to be part of the board plan. Because the thing about that is, right, that, like, we would have just had in our hand one of those cards. Right? So, like, we had the Spirit Guide, which would have been either Bone Shards or Run Afoul.
Right.
So we just get the ability to slow him down. And I think that would have been a big game there. Just like taking a turn to slow him down. Yeah, I definitely think you're right.
I think slowing down or slowing them down to one turn is enough time to be able to get enough gas.
Well, we won the die roll, but we have no mana. God, this is close. I think I'm gonna keep it, actually. And I think I'm gonna ship Inquiry.
Yeah. Because then we can, once upon a time, drop the LED.
Yup, that's the game plan. Gas.
Fantastic.
Couldn't have asked for better.
We can finally see the deck go off.
LED is busted. Confirmed. Yes, please. I don't think I hate the idea of looting here, to be honest with you. Alright, well. We made 6 power on turn 1. Dumped a bunch of cards into our graveyard.
Blooded Strand.
Could be Bant. I will just activate this. And I will attack you. Deal. White source. Oh, Watery Grave. What are you up to? Are we getting Death Shadowed? We might be getting Death Shadowed.
Can't think of anything else it would be. Yeah, it's gotta be Grixis Shadow.
We're like... usually in Legacy it's just blue-black.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that is indeed a Death Shadow. You have a 5/5. Do you have 2 5/5s? Oh, you're reanimating my Vengefine. That's rad. Well, that one doesn't do it.
That's rough.
I mean, this isn't actually atrocious. Like, we're going to trade Blazing Root Wall with our Vengevine this turn.
Right. We have to get something busted, though, on our turn to stop the shadow.
I mean, we just have to try to kill them, is basically where we're at. Do you have another shadow? Is that where we're at? This feels like you have another shadow. You do have another shadow. That is unfortunate. Yep. Yikes. Well, this is a deck that basically hasn't shown up in the format in like forever, but let's go. I do like.
If we didn't block at all, if we would have been fine.
So my plan there was to trade that off. I guess maybe, right? Like we take 13 there, which is kind of a big deal. I kind of want 2 Firestorms. I don't know if they're how good they are, but I think that they're the best that we get. This is where, again, I think Gamble's bad. Like, actively bad.
I agree.
Can cut 1 anger and 1 ox. We brought in 2 bone shards, 2 firestorms. Oh, I have to cut 1 more card. Probably the spirit guide.
I agree.
I think that we have to have answers to them, and by having to have answers to them, we have to slow down. Grudge should... So that's, I guess, the next thing is, like, I don't know what they're boarding in to try to stop us, either. I would love to play first. This ain't it.
Board in, like... Because he's not playing too much with his graveyard with the Death Shadow.
This doesn't do anything at all. Yikes. We're on 4. Keep.
So we're keeping... Imp, Rootwalla...
Well, I want bone shards.
Diamond. Or...
I don't think I need imp.
I don't think you need
Firestorm can go.
Firestorm either. Is the second land worth it? I guess we need it for the shards.
I don't need it for the shards, but... LED?
This feels bad.
Yeah, this doesn't feel great, that's for sure. I'll just run out this Rootwalla. Watery Grave, yes. Another Watery Grave. Baleful Strix, sure. I think I can Firestorm and discard this Tarn to kill their Baleful Strix.
I agree.
Oh, nope. I messed that up. I just want 1.
Is it...
You have
Per
to...
tomb? Oh, per target.
Yeah, X
Gotcha.
X multiple times. Firestorm's complicated. I will send this Basking Rootwalla at you. I'm also protecting this Tarn because they're often a Wasteland deck. Like, usually the Death Shadow deck historically has basically been like a Delver deck. So they're just like a Stifle, like, they're like a Wasteland Daze mess. Yup, you get to reanimate it, that's fine.
It seems like a lot of effort just to get the Strix back. But now the bone... Oh. Double Death Shadow.
Yeah, like... This is where I wish we had another mana.
And he blocks with the Strix.
Yup. Which I would be actually okay with. I'm gonna float red here because Thoughtseize is actually something that matters. Once again reanimates the Baleful Strix, sure. We take 10. This is really unfortunate. That's another Strix. Sure. Strix in this deck is so strange.
He must really like it, though. He's reanimated it like 2 or 3 times.
Well, I mean, it's basically just like a free...
Free draw.
I will discard the Sanji's Ravager and feel sad about it. Nope, sure won't. Is this where you daze me? If you daze me, I will be very sad. Because daze would be functionally lethal. Because all they would have to do is...
All he needs is a Thoughtseize to kill this turn, right?
Yep, pretty much. That's why daze was... Like, the notion of daze was actually pretty scary. Because daze picking up Watery Grave is basically the same, and it shuts off our removal spell. 5, 6, 7. Yep. Our next turn has to be absolutely absurd. What are we casting? Uh-oh. That's very good. I don't think we beat that one. And another Death Shadow. Yeah. That ain't it.
Oh, that's it.
Yikes. Well, we're 1-3. We can still get some play points out of this, but it's not looking great. Yeah, I mean, triple Reanimator is already rough, and then Death Shadow, a deck that basically hasn't existed in the format in, like, a couple of years. What a wild league.
Right. Where's like the mid-range creature decks?
Exactly, yeah, like, where's Bant? Or, like, Death and Taxes? Like, all of the nonsense cards that just, like, all the nonsense decks that just, like, get run over by an LED draw. Fenris Cloud. I believe you are a Taxes player. Like, this feels nuts.
It does.
We have an
Do we go for
inquiry.
the looting or the inquiry first?
I feel like I want a looting first. I think I will also do so after this Taiga. Force of Will. Opponent is on Infect.
Oh, great.
I will not cast Anji's Ravager. I will, however, cast Blazing Rootwalla. We did put a Vengevine in the yard. That's actually rad. This Vengevine just happens next turn. Oh, poor sweet opponent. Oh, let's go.
Oh, this is so good.
Badlands? Putrid. Activate. Discard. Always yield. Cast. Always yield. Yes, please. I'm also just gonna discard this other Rootwalla so we get a hollow one to boot. This feels very good for us. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a lot of damage coming into our opponent this next turn.
Think we can kill them next turn?
I think it's pretty close. They now have 2 blockers. I accept.
Should just have a bunch of mutagenics or something.
Could be double invigorate. It is not double invigorate. I think our opponent has died. That's actually actively good. Turn everything sideways. You have died, opponent. Congratulations.
There we go. That's how the deck's supposed to work.
I agree. So I want firestorms. I'm deciding if I want Ancient Grudge or if I want Run Afoul to deal with Inkmoth Nexus.
I think Ancient Grudge.
So I like the notion. The reason I like Run Afoul is because it gets around protection spells. They just don't have that many creatures with flying, so if they come in with an Inkmoth, like, you just get out of here, please?
Right.
I'm unsure. I know...
They play, what is the 1/1 flyer?
No, you're thinking the black one?
I think so.
Yeah, no. In Legacy, you're just blue-green. I think I'm going to board in these 2 Runafowls and cut the 2 Ox of Agonis. I think that card is just, like, asking way too much. And then we'll just call it
I
there.
think the Ox is only good in the matches where we know we're going to be running for a while.
Yeah, when we have time to grind, I think it's great. I'm willing to keep this. Ponder is fine. I have every intention on casting this Burning Inquiry on 1. I think the upside of casting Burning Inquiry on 1 is very, very high. I think I am going to...
give her some of these extra lands.
Yeah, I think I'm going to fetch Badlands, though, because in the event that we do get left with Putrid Imp, I think that we want a black source. Days is fine. I will not pay for days. We good. That one's gonna be gas.
Then we get the Ruwala and the Ravager.
We sure do.
The Ravager too.
It costs 2 to bring back, but we get that on our turn if we want it. Brainstorm is fine. That one's pretty gas, not gonna lie to you. Firestorm only ever really needs to deal like 1 point of damage, so... I'm just gonna discard Anji's Ravager to Putrid Imp. Like, right now, I feel like we are supremely in the driver's seat here.
There's the one.
Gas, I'm in. Well, alright then. You discard my entire hand. That is supremely unfortunate, I won't lie to you. I will fetch another Badlands here just because I do want the access to it. Always yield to Blazing Root Walla. I will cast this. Always yield to Basking Root Walla. I will cast this one.
And we get a free hollow one.
We sure do.
And we can discard the anger to the Putrid Imp. Yep.
Oh, we sure can.
This is so good.
I'm gonna cast this one for free. I think we are very much in the driver's seat here. All right. I mean, that's unfortunate. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do I have access to anything that can stop this? The answer is no. Alright.
Couldn't you have blocked with the Imp?
Yeah, but they berserked it, so it had trample and it was about to have 18 power. Yep.
I didn't see the Berserk.
Berserk, very good. Yeah, that was the only thing I needed them not to have was Berserk, but they had double Invigorate plus Berserk. So, alright. I don't think it gets any better than this. I think that we just resubmit. I would love to play first.
Feels bad. 3 once upon a time.
I feel like we can do better. We did indeed do better. I'm gonna ship that. I will cast Lion's Eye Diamond. I will cast another Lion's Eye Diamond. I will place Burning Inquiry on the stack. We did discard a hollow one, which feels kind of bad. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass here. That's pretty atrocious. Like, that Inquiry could have been gas, but was not.
I know the 2 cards that we wanted it to discard it in.
Pretty much. Because that hollow one would have been, like, absolutely fire right now. Opponent also has no idea what we have in hand right now, which is pretty good. We made them discard a Blighted Agent and 2 Invigorates. That feels very good. I'm going to try to fetch here. I say try to because they are often a Stifle deck. At least one of. Cast Faithless Looting. I will discard land Blazing Root Walla. I will cast this. I will then cast Burning Inquiry. Oh, okay.
Didn't get the first hollow one, but the second one is...
The second one's live, yeah. cast this hollow one. Force of will, pitch for hollow one. I think that's fine, actually, though, right? Like, they've developed zero pressure. There's an Ink Moth Nexus. Okay.
We did not want to see that third LED.
Not particularly. So, there's a brainstorm. So they don't already just have it, which is good news for us. Search a library for Dry Island. Yeah.
So at best, all they're getting is 1 damage in.
No, they could do like a whole bunch of damage still. There's a Glistener Elf. Okay, that one. That says that we're not dead. I like that we're not dead. If they're not going all in on the Ink Moth Nexus right now, that means that we actually get time. I have no blocks.
You'd think if they were going all in on the Ink Moth, they wouldn't have played the Elf.
That's it exactly right. I'm gonna flashback looting here. Force Pitch Brainstorm, sure. I don't have another one, but I can draw them in the future. I will just declare attacks here. I could crack an LED for green to pump our Root Walla. The one that's getting through.
Yeah. I think
I'd rather save this for busted. Or like when it's closer to lethal. Opponent has another land. Animate Ink Moth. Does this activate with Pendlehaven 2 Invigorates? That would be bad.
That would be busted since they've already dropped 2 of them. Or 3. No, they have 3 in the graveyard.
Okay. Scale up. Yeah. We're at 7, in fact. Bladed Agent, sure. Yikes.
Yeah, that's not hardly anything good.
Nope, none of these do anything at all.
Take what, the Blazing Root Wallow?
I think I want... I don't think it matters. Like, I'm gonna crack for green, I think. We're just dead.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess there was a line there where we could have just, like, held back and not cracked LED. to make them think that we had something going on. Opponent's gonna ponder. Yep. I mean, sure, we were already dead, opponent, but yes. We were already extremely dead.
They just had to flex on us.
Apparently so. Well, yikes. 1-4, Killian. That's not the finish we were hoping for at all.
Terrible.
I mean, in our defense, right, we ran up against Reanimator 3 times and 2 decks that have been almost entirely absent from the format. So, like, this was definitely not a situation that I think favored us. Like, we knew that we sideboarded a little bit wrong versus Reanimator after the 3rd time around. When it's like, we were just supposed to have the removal spells in the minute we came out of boards. Not try to race the first boarded game.
Right.
So, like, I get that. And then, like, Death Shadow, it hasn't been a prominent player in Legacy in a couple of years. So, like, this deck doesn't really have a lot of great answers to Wasteland, Shockland, Daze, Thoughtseize as an archetype.
Right.
And then Infect is around occasionally, but so infrequently that it's not something that's on people's minds, right? Like that's why cards like Bone Shards exist in our deck, because it's okay to removal is sorcery speed. So, slightly problematic. But, I mean, this deck is still pretty reasonable, and it does well enough. I think we just had a really rough league.
I think so too. I mean, with the 3 Reanimators, it was just rough from the start.
For sure. Well, alright, Killian, thank you for joining me tonight, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun. I wish I knew a little bit more about Legacy so I could provide a little more input, but...
Oh, you're right, man. Like, that's kind of the beauty of this, right? Is that by streaming with other people, like, you get other people... Like, you can show other people the format and get viewpoints that, like... I wouldn't have thought that, you know, maybe we necessarily needed to worry about having answers to these threats when we were trying to race them, but, like, sometimes they're just going to dump a thing into play and shut off our entire deck. So, like, we did need to do that, and then, like, sometimes there are lines that you don't think of because you're so used to playing the format a very specific way. Like, I've played a ton of Legacy, but sometimes you start narrowing in on very specific play patterns because it's worked for you so many times in the past, and you don't see, like, the flaw in it. So it's nice to have another opinion, even if it's not somebody that plays Legacy normally, because that itself can be super helpful. But
right, and that's the beauty about it. So, you know, these kind of more niche decks is that you get to learn different ways to play, and you aren't so, like, fixated on, like, the top decks.
I mean, saying that, though, but, like, this Madness deck has put up a lot of results recently. Like, looking back here, I mean, the list we took was a 3-1 from a preliminary. Then, the day before, it took 4th in the challenge. And the day before that, somebody 5-0'd with it in a league. Like, the deck puts up numbers, like, pretty regularly. It's kind of crazy that, like, you know, this deck didn't exist a year ago, but because of the printing of Anji's Ravager and because of the printing of Blazing Rootwalla, and I guess a little before that you get Once Upon a Time, stitching all these things together, all of a sudden, like, a whole new archetype is born. And it's been kind of crazy how often that's happened recently, where you went from, you know, somebody had a fever dream once about, like, playing a Lion's Eye Diamond Vengevine deck, and now all of a sudden it's a real thing because the cards randomly, you know, became real.
Right, like there's so many cards from past sets that you're just like they just need something to be viable.
Well, it's like,
And,
I mean,
10
Firestorm,
years
right?
down the road, they get one.
Like, here's Firestorm, right? A card that, like, isn't necessarily something that's seen a lot of play historically, but because you have to discard cards to make it work. But now, all of a sudden, like, here's a deck that just wants to keep discarding cards all over the place. And all of a sudden, Firestorm's like, I'm right here. Right here. And it's perfect for this deck because you can literally just, like, clear board states. Like, you have a full grip and they develop, like, a couple of hate bears and some nonsense, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna dump my whole hand.
Like, even against that Infect deck, I mean, had we had the Firestorm, we can just pop every single little 1/1 he throws down.
Yeah, we just, like, hit you and Blighted Agent and Inkmoth Nexus each for 3. Oh, and put 3 bodies into play. Like, that's so gas. It's crazy, like, how this kind of stuff has been coming together. So, it's really neat. And, like, I'm glad that you got to, like, explore the format a little more. Unfortunately, it had to be triple Reanimator. But, like, there's so much crazy stuff that's going on right now that, like, it's cool to be able to show that to somebody who maybe hasn't played a ton of Legacy or isn't as familiar. So it's been really cool. We'll definitely have to do this again, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and cheers.